Hey guys, I'm Dr. Horshig, and today we're going to talk about how to fix your anterior pelvic tilt whenever you're squatting.
Get up and get down, get up and get.
All right guys, so let's first talk about what is anterior pelvic tilt. We've got our spine model right here. Now in a neutral alignment, we have a little bit of lordosis in your low back, which is a slight anterior curve, and your pelvis, for most people, sits like this. This is a good postured position. Now, whenever we're squatting, we want to maintain that relationship the entire squat down and back up. But what we see is that a lot of athletes will default into an anterior pelvic tilt. They'll stick their butt back, especially the Instagram models out there, stick their butt back, pelvis tips forward, they get a huge lumbar lordosis or hyperlordosis in their low back. That's something that's not going to be very good for your back long term, and it's not going to be very good performance-wise because you're not in that neutral stacked alignment of your spine, so you're not going to be absorbing and maintaining those forces on your low back long term. It's going to hurt your potential. What we see is that a lot of times people have very over-facilitated and stiff hip flexors because they're in a shortened position by being very, very tight like this all the time. Now, we're gonna first address the tight hip flexors. Now, when most people feel tightness in their hip flexors, they want to jam forward like this, and they'll really feel a good stretch in their hip flexors. What's going on in the low back? By pushing forward like this, we're overemphasizing that already anteriorly pelvic tilted position, low back's overarched. We're just reinforcing the current position that you're in. Even though you think you're stretching your hip flexors, you're probably getting a lot of anterior hip capsule right there. So what do we want to do? We're going to stretch your psoas muscle a little bit, but we're going to maintain a good position of our back. So we're going to put your hands on your pelvis. We're going to find sort of the difference between anterior and posterior tilt. So we're teaching your body how to move a little bit differently. We're going to go into a slight posterior tilt. So you're going to tilt your pelvis underneath your body. And then from here, brace your core like someone's about to punch you right in the stomach, squeeze your glutes like crazy, and then from right here, you're just gonna slightly lean forward, keeping your chest tall. Now right here, I can already feel a really good stretch in my right hip flexor. Again, we're not getting as much rectus femoris, we're getting more psoas, which is one of your hip flexors on the front side of your body that connects to your spine. So from right here, posterior pelvic tilt, stand tall, brace my core, squeeze my glute, lean forward slightly, hold for about 10 seconds, and then you're gonna come off. This is an exercise that I found from Dr. Mike Reinold, amazing physical therapist, puts out some great work. But from here, 5 to 10 seconds, a couple exercises like that, a couple stretches, and then come off. Now, that's step one. Step two, we have to address also the other components that go into someone that is always defaulting into an anterior pelvic tilt. Weak glutes. So what you're gonna do is put a hip circle band around your knees. You're gonna get into your natural bridge position. You're gonna push down through your toes, brace your core, lift up, squeeze your glutes as hard as you can. Notice I have a flat back right here. I'm not overarching, so I'm not anteriorly pelvic tilting. I'm here, up, squeeze my glutes, 10-second hold, 20 reps total. My glutes should be on fire. We're turning those on, and then back down. Something like this, 15 to 20 reps, maintaining that neutral position. So that is step two. Now the last step that we're gonna work on is just going back and fixing and addressing your technique. If you're only stretching and you're only strengthening and you're not actually addressing the movement issue in the first place, you're never gonna find a full resolution of the movement problem. Now, a lot of times when people default into that anterior pelvic tilt, whenever they're squatting, they have a poor bracing mechanism. So they're not learning how to tighten their core and find balance. So when they squat, they're gonna naturally tip forward to hang out on their hip flexors for stability, and they're gonna push their butt back way too far, overarch that low back. So what we're gonna do, and I'll demo this, is when we get up top, we're gonna stand tall, we're gonna make sure that we're in a neutral position. A slight arch is okay, we just don't wanna tilt forward too much. We're gonna breathe into our stomach, brace, and then sit the hips back slightly as we go down. If you push your hip back too far, it's easy to default in that overextended position just to remain in balance. So oftentimes your anterior pelvic tilt will be because you're off balance in your squat. So here's what this is going to look like. Take your step back. Now from right here, a lot of times people are gonna get here. They're gonna overextend their low back. So find your neutral position. Make sure you are braced. Sit your hips back slightly and then straight down. Just like that. So there you guys go. That is how you're going to fix anterior pelvic tilt with your squat. You're gonna first address why that problem is happening. It's often over-facilitated in tight hip flexors, not tight hamstrings, even though they feel tight. That is not the cause of your pain or the cause of your anterior pelvic tilt. You're going to address the tight hip flexors with a good stretch, not defaulting back into the problem. We're then gonna get the glutes activated, and then we're gonna come back over and we're gonna fix the movement issue with a few cues to brace the core, slight hip hinge, and then squat straight down while maintaining that core stability. So I hope you guys liked today's quick video. If you did, please like, share it with your friends. If you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys that are following the SquatUniversity channel. And if you have any questions that you would like me to talk about in next week's video, please let me know in the comment section below. Till next week, guys, happy squatting.
They say that energy flows where attention goes, so I pay no mind. Why waste my time with all these negative cats scratching? So caught up in their egos, these people have lost.